But honestly, I was horrified by those James O'Brien things. If I was LBC, I would take him off air straight away. He's a disgrace to the channel. And if that's what people are listening to, I'm astonished. They need to get a life, frankly.
Breaking right now, crisis at LBC as Carol Vorderman leaves the station under a cloud, and there are growing concerns about whether James O'Brien is actually stable. But today, Matt Goodwin, the academic, has put the LBC presenters, so those two, Emily Maitlis, John Sopel, Lewis Goodall, into a new category. He has branded them the liberal authoritarians. And this is what Matt Goodwin writes on his Substack. They struggle to tolerate any challenge, however slight, to their narrow groupthink. They use their enormous platforms or taxpayer-funded positions in public institutions to dogmatically impose their beliefs on everybody else in society. They often insult, undermine, stigmatize, and seek to silence people who hold different views, casually deriding them as far-right, fascist, populist, and bigots, while struggling to hide their thinly disguised contempt towards these perceived dissenters. They show very little, if any, serious interest in evidence or arguments that run counter to their own dogmatic and rigid worldview, reflected in how their podcasts and shows usually only feature guests who reinforce rather than challenge their views. And deep down, I suspect, this is Matt Goodwin's words, that many of them think that society would just be better off if all of those irritating and ignorant conservative Brexit voters and Trump voters would just shut up and accept they're inferior to this morally righteous, enlightened group. But what's interesting is that James O'Brien certainly isn't coping at the moment, because he's got everything that he thought he wanted in this Labour government. But actually, they're already letting him down, and he doesn't know how to deal with it. So Mike Graham, his Talk TV rival, posted on X earlier this week that people are now seriously asking whether James O'Brien is actually having a breakdown. The former Tory mayoral candidate, Susan Hall, she agreed, adding, James O'Brien has lost the plot a long time ago. He has never coped with Brexit, and he drones on and on. According to people that have lost those hours listening to him, at some point LBC may take a view and just have less biased people on. So I've been gathering lots of evidence this week to actually work out what is going on with James O'Brien and Carol Vorderman too, because I think there is something very suspect in her departure from the station. And it is very clear that Mr. O'Brien is not coping psychologically. Watch this.
It's about what a no-deal Brexit would mean. And off it goes. And here we are. And I don't know how to talk about it anymore. It's the strangest thing. It's a bit like Tom Jones forgetting how to sing Delilah. I imagine that, I don't know, Shaking Stevens forgot the words to This Old House. I need a slightly more up-to-date reference. Imagine if Taylor Swift forgot the words to Shake It Off. Or never, ever, ever, ever getting back. What's after that? I forget. I'm never, ever. I don't know how to talk about it anymore, and I don't understand why.
He also appeared to joke about an attempt on the life of Donald Trump.
So if anyone wants to take a shot at Trump, maybe they should make it. Not literally, obviously. Although on second thought, we're just coming up to noon.
And then earlier this week, there was this as well.
He can't turn around and say, be like Profumo, squared. He can't turn around and accept the disgrace that he deserves any more than Nigel Farage can. They soiled the national bed. And Wes Streeting says we all have to lie in it.
Now, after there was talk of him losing the plot earlier this week, sparked by Mike Graham and my coverage on this show, O'Brien yesterday insisted he didn't need the help of a psychiatrist live on air.
See, when I pay my tax, I'm confident, for now at least, at this stage in my life, that I'm probably not going to need psychiatric assessment on the NHS, but my God, I want the people who need it to get it. Why don't you?
So why don't I what?
Why don't you want people who need psychiatric help to get it?
I'm talking about the people. As you will know, James, it's a very naive view to suggest that there's people out there.
Now, all I ever hear is people who know someone who doesn't need it. And then when I ask whether they've been assessed by professionals who know better than amateurs, the answer is usually yes, they have, but I'm still resentful of it.
Back with my superstar panel, Mayurun, Senthalnathan and Christine Hamilton. Firstly, guys, and everyone watching, I'm really sorry to put you through that. I know it's difficult.
Thank you, Dan.
But there is a reason behind it, though, because it is interesting, isn't it? A liberal authoritarian. That is what Matt Goodwin has described James O'Brien as. But what do you make of what's actually going on with him at the moment, Christine? Because it's odd.
Well, I have to say, thanks to you, or frankly, no thanks to you, I have just had to watch more James O'Brien in the last 5 minutes than I have, frankly, ever watched or listened to in my life. He's not on my spectrum. I'm not interested in watching him. I hear what he says from other people. And you've only got to compare the photograph when he was speaking on the radio, and you flashed up just a photograph of him. He looks a completely different person to when you see him live. I mean, talk about deterioration. I know time takes its toll. I'm well aware of that. But I mean, I daren't say it, but is he on something? Could he be on something? He's clearly lost the plot. And, well, he has. I've no idea whether he's taking something that's causing these hallucinations. That's all it is. And there's an air of moral superiority.
Maybe some odd natural remedies. Yeah.
I
know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
Some odd natural remedies. It's the moral superiority that people like him and Vorderman, etc., and the Labour government take over. I keep coming back to this same word, normal people, normal, ordinary, everyday people, like I regard myself as. They seem to think that if you don't agree with them, they're right and you're wrong. There's no, which I don't know, a lot of people disagree with me, but I'm not saying I'm right and they're wrong. It's a difference of opinion. But honestly, I was horrified by those James O'Brien things. If I was LBC, I would take him off air straight away. He's a disgrace to the channel. In fact, if that's what people are listening to, I'm astonished. They need to get a life, frankly.
Mayurun, Senthalnathan, just before you...
I've seen it, Rick.
Just before you come in, well, it gets worse. So just before you come in, Mayurun, I want to go now to what James O'Brien had to say about Nigel Farage. So let me just set this up, because Nigel Farage was in the studio being interviewed by Nick Ferrari. And he had made very clear to Nick Ferrari that James O'Brien's rhetoric describing the incidents after the Southport massacre as the Farage riots had directly impacted his security threat level, that he was directly under significant threat because of what James O'Brien was saying on air. Now, that was a moment for James O'Brien to pull back a little bit and think, heck, I might disagree with Nigel Farage, but I don't want something to happen to him. Do you know what he did? Well, it was disgusting. Watch this, and I'll get you to react off the bat.
Have you ever had violent race riots named after you, or indeed been accused by the head of the Met of emboldening the racist thugs responsible? Has your vile and ignorant rhetoric ever helped instigate attempts to burn people alive in their beds? Have you ever cited a self-described misogynist facing rape and people trafficking charges in Romania as a trustworthy news source for events in the UK? Or described yourself as part of a similar phenomenon to him? Have you ever helped a convicted woman beater get elected to the UK Parliament? And have any newly elected MPs spent more time in America getting binned off by Donald Trump than they have in their own constituency? And what would you call someone who answers yes to all those questions?
So, Mayurun, he doesn't seem to give a damn about the safety of Nigel Farage, does he?
No, I mean, I've been with Nigel Farage, even at the conference. You can see the security he's under. It's crazy. He has like 3 huge guys just walking around, constantly on surveillance. Anyone who's a kind of vaguely strange face, they're on them straight away. He has to live like that. And the people with James O'Brien, his radio show, his monologues especially, are just kind of a pseudo soul-searching monologues that appear very sincere and very poetic. But it's just a facade. He's a bully. He's frankly just a bully. He picks on people, often callers, who don't know very much, but have a genuine, sincere grievance. And he just tries to destroy them for clicks and likes. And he's actually a coward. Nigel Farage has come back out of sort of retirement, out of his, cushy, cozy life. He's now had to get increased bodyguards because of people like James O'Brien to fight a case to get this country back. That is true heroic politics. That is true heroic activism. James O'Brien sits behind a microphone and he just basically just hashtag Nigel Farage riots and just gives off ad hominem attacks and picks on random people from the public to make himself look good. And yet he's the compassionate one. He's just a bully. That's all. Nothing else.
Very good point, actually. And he doesn't like it, by the way, when his callers challenge him. And I want to show you this moment where you can actually see him referring to his producers or trying to signal to his producers. If you watch this carefully, you'll see him saying, turn the person down, because the caller is challenging him too much, which shows that he's not just a bully, Mayurun, but he's also gutless. Watch this.
Mate, I thought you were here to tell me the toxicity had diminished.
Yeah, I have. And
You're sounding well toxic, mate.
Because you won't allow me to get to...
No, I won't allow you to avoid the question. I won't allow you to avoid the question.
No, you won't allow me to speak. You do this all the time.
No, I don't. I insist that people answer the question. Are you going to answer the question? Are you going to answer the question?
The CB... I've answered the question. And now I'm asking you to move on. The CBI, sponsored by Price Waterhouse, and you repeated this after it said that unemployment would reach...
I think we can all agree I'm never going to be Emily, mate.
Did you see that, Christine? He goes like that. So he doesn't believe in free speech at all. He doesn't like anyone who actually takes him on and beats him.
Having watched now twice as much O'Brien as I ever wanted to watch, I find it astonishing that people want to listen to that. As Mayurun said, he's a bully. He's a coward. He incites violence against other people. I mean, why is he kept on air? I mean, if he was on something like GB News, Ofcom would have got rid of him, wouldn't they?
Totally.
So why is LBC keeping him on? I simply don't understand. I can't see the appeal of him.
Ofcom came for me, let's remember, for laughing at a joke. And they allow this type of behaviour to go on every day because James O'Brien is part of the establishment.
Oh, it's Saint James, of course it is. And did I not hear him a few minutes ago, the first clip you played, calling for somebody to take a pot shot at Trump? He did then say only joking, but I'm sorry, that's like
but then he said, but on second thought,
saying throw acid at Farage. I mean, it's just appalling what people get. Talk about two-tier policing. This is two-tier Ofcomming, what people get away with.
Totally. But I'm very interested to know what you think about Carol Vorderman leaving the station, because I don't believe what she's saying. Because this week, for example, she's out and about recording Have I Got News for You, loving the fact that she's back on the BBC and posting all of the pictures that she loves on social media. But earlier this week, she claims, and what's interesting about this, and Christine, you'll know about this being a media woman, it's coming up to contract renewal time. And all of a sudden she announced that, she just can't work 7 days a week. Have a look. First though, hot flashes, sleepless nights, weight gain, joint pain. I know a lot of you are dealing with or have dealt with these symptoms, especially the women in the Outspoken family. So of course I haven't experienced menopause. Of course I haven't. But I've heard from so many of you about the challenges that do come with it. So I'm coming to you with a bit of good news today, because Verso, a product that I've been taking for months, and it's been transformative to me, but actually is also transformative for a lot of women who are dealing with menopause or perimenopause. I know it's a tough phase, but Cellbean by Verso is designed to target those symptoms head on by addressing the root cause. It's formulated with ingredients that are proven to increase NAD+ levels in the body. That is huge, because NAD+ is what keeps your cells healthy and energized, but it drops off as we age, and especially during menopause. And here's the thing, boosting NAD plus can make a big difference in how you feel. Women who've taken Cellbean are reporting some pretty amazing changes. Hot flashes disappearing, more energy, joint pain relief, weight loss, and mental clarity. And I've even heard from some listeners who've told me their periods have come back or have become regulated and they feel like they've turned back the clock on aging. The ingredients in Cellbean have shown to balance hormones without going the traditional hormone therapy route. It also helps with inflammation and metabolism, which is especially helpful for managing weight and keeping you feeling your best. Plus, these research-backed ingredients have been shown to improve bone health, which is crucial for postmenopausal women at risk of osteoporosis. What I love about Cellbean, and I think you do too, is it doesn't just mask the symptoms, it tackles the root causes of aging, helping you feel stronger, healthier, and more energized from the inside out. And if you haven't tried it yet and you're ready to take control of your health and feel more like yourself, click the link in the description in YouTube and Rumble, or head on over to buy.ver.so. Use the coupon code Outspoken at checkout to save 15% on your first order. So if you're tired of the sleepless nights, the hot flashes, or just feeling off, give Cellbean a try. It's already helped so many of you, and I'm confident it can help even more too. So I'll repeat the address one more time, www.buy.ver.so/outspoken when you check out to get that incredible 15% discount. Just make sure you use the coupon code Outspoken. But now, back to the show.
But my family have given me a good talking to, so have my friends, and have said, no more 7-day working weeks. So, very, very sadly, something had to go. And I'm very fed up about it, but I have made the decision that I can no longer do my Sunday show on LBC. Which is a very hard decision to come to. But I couldn't see anything else that I could do. That's the truth. So I'm carrying on being a part of the LBC family, and I'll be popping in from time to time. But I just want to say thank you for all of your support over the last year. And it's been fantastic, and the ratings and everything have been fantastic. So thank you very much. It's just one of those things. And I'm very sad about it, but I shall be continuing to make mischief, but just not 7 days a week in future. Mwah!
Christine Hamilton, do you believe her?
Look, I have no idea. I'm not a media junkie like you. I never listened to James O'Brien.
You are, Christine. You've been in this world for so long.
Yes, but I'm a little choosy, and I don't watch her on Twitter. I don't listen to her. I know what she says. She can't stand me because I've seen a few things that she says. I mean, why would I want to watch pictures of her like that? I mean, that's funny. Now, Neil and I do that. That's Harry Worth. Those who don't know what I'm talking about, anybody under the age of whatever probably says, oh, who's Harry Worth? But that business. But Harry Worth did it with a mirror and a glass. That's the whole point. You see, I bet I've lost half your audience now. Google Harry Worth and the leg and arm trick. I can't do it because I need a mirror to. Anyway, that's what she was doing. She did it very badly. I couldn't give a damn about Carol Vorderman. She's drunk on her own power, and she can't bear the thought that she's going to lose all those listeners or viewers, both. Nobody works 7 days a week, for heaven's sake. It's absurd. You don't have to. She's got plenty of money. She doesn't need to. She just needs to feel that she's needed and wanted, and everybody wants her views. Well, I don't. Thank you very much. I didn't even know she was on LBC every Sunday. If you'd asked me an exam question, when does Carol Vorderman appear on LBC? My question would have been, I didn't know she did.
Mayurun, what do you make of Vorderman, who has actually sort of ruined what was quite a good legacy, actually, because do you remember she used to always hang out with the Tories? She loved being around David Cameron, loved being around Boris Johnson, loved being around Matt Hancock. I used to work with her and she was completely fine, but she has now sort of taken on this extreme positioning where she's so vile to anyone who doesn't sign up to her far left political ideology. including
Look, I think she spent such a long time going full throttle for Labour, and now the Labour government have got in power. She now has to face the music. She's climbed the mountain, put the flag on the mountain top, and found there's really nothing there. And look, I don't have the little birds telling me what's going on behind the scenes like you do, Dan. But I would say if I had an LBC show on a Sunday that was doing well in the ratings, and I cared about this country, and I had an opinion about where I wanted it to go, I would not give it up. I would not give it up. And given that she went so hard and she apparently cares so much, I find it strange that she would give up that Sunday show just like that. That's the only thing I would say on this thing. But I'm sure you know more than me, Dan.
Yeah, I think you're onto something, put it that way, Mayurun. I think you're onto something. But look, Mayurun Senthalnathan, Christine...
You're suggesting that she's been pushed.
What I'm suggesting is that once it gets up to contract renewal time, so for people who don't know how this works, LBC give out annual contracts, year-long contracts, and when it comes up to contract renewal time, sometimes there will be an artful conversation where they say, look, we're probably not going to give you a contract next year, but, maybe this is the time that you want to leave. Maybe you want to spend more time with your family. Maybe you want to concentrate on your health a bit more. And if you want to release a statement saying that, we'll be absolutely fine with that. Now, sometimes folk don't buy into that. You remember Sangeeta Miska, who was another one of those hard left people who LBC got rid of. She wouldn't play that game. She was got rid of, and she wouldn't sign up to the, So yeah, I think Vorderman has become too extreme even for LBC. I describe LBC as the Labour Broadcasting Company, but she has gone so to the hard left. She parrots mistruths from organisations like Byline Times all the time that I think even for LBC, she was too much of a risk. So yes, that is what I'm implying. Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.